I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg testified Tuesday before the House Transportation Committee. Representative Scott Perry and Buttigieg got into a back and forth over the prices of electric vehicles. The Pennsylvania Republican said that according to Kelley Blue Book, an electric car would be $55,000. Perry asked Buttigieg specifically what the Biden administration is doing to lower transportation costs, aside from subsidies. Buttigieg responded by listing prices of EVs from 2022, which were all thousands of dollars less than the price Perry stated. Watch the full exchange now.
What we consider to be the importance of them being good partners with these smaller and disadvantaged companies too.
Thank you. Now yield back.
Thank you, gentlemen. Representative Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary, thanks for being here. I'm sure you know, folks, where I live, my bosses, my constituents are paying about 80% more for gasoline than they were when President Biden became the president. And I think the response, I think it's fair to say that even you have implied that they should buy an electric vehicle and absolve themselves of that 80% increase per gallon. Just looking at Kelley Blue Book, the price of a EV is about $55,000. Now, that doesn't include, so it's actually more than that because there's $7,500 per car subsidy paid for by about $48 billion in taxes on the same people on that car. So it's closer to about $60,000. There's about $20,000 more than a gas-driven passenger car, about $40,000 more than the average compact car. At the same time, I'm sure you probably also realize that the average Pennsylvanian pays about $170 a month in electricity, and that doesn't include the 10 to 15% that has just gone up. So that's an old number, so it's actually more than that. And based on Mr. Massey's numbers, which I don't doubt at all, if they could afford the electric vehicle and plug it in, we're talking about another $90, $100 a month in electric costs. I'm wondering what the administration and you are doing other than subsidizing, to lower the cost. Look, they're either paying more for gas, 80%, or they're paying more for electricity to the tune of essentially doubling their electricity bill. Like, how's this getting better for my bosses? And what's the administration like? What do you plan to do about that cost other than subsidies?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm very glad you asked that question. First of all, I want to be clear. Nobody I know, certainly not me, thinks that all or even most Americans can easily afford electric vehicles. That said, I'm struck by this $55,000 number that keeps going around. I knew this might come up, so I just pulled a few of the latest prices. A Chevy Bolt, so an American-made 2022 EV is $26,595. If you want a pickup truck, like a Chevy Silverado EV or Ford F-150 Lightning, the starting prices of those are $39,900 and $39,974, respectively. We've also begun to see...
Is that pre-subsidy or post-subsidy?
I think it depends on which depends on the automaker, because some of them have gone through the cap for the $7,500, and some
does that include
state
subsidies as well?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
So, and look, that's the new car. So the first time I got a plug-in car, for example, Chasten and I got one. It was $14,000. Had about 15,000 miles on it. It was a C-Max. So it was a combo plug-in hybrid. But what we're seeing in terms of the dynamics now is we're close to the point, and may actually be there on certain models and under certain circumstances, where the extent to which your car payment would go up is actually already outweighed by the extent to which your gas bill would go down, even factoring in the cost of electricity. Now, again, that depends on what electricity.
So you're saying the market's bringing it down. And look, I got my numbers from Kelley Blue Book. So
are those this year's numbers?
What's that?
Would those be this year's numbers?
Actually, last year. So, but I don't know that anything, especially used cars, have actually gone down in price. But my other concern is that I'm sure, if you're not aware, that you should be aware that about Since 2010, so it's essentially over 12 years now, we've closed over 550 power generation stations, which is about 102 gigawatts, and we're scheduled to retire another by 2025, so just a couple of years, 17 gigawatts of coal-fired capacity. At the same time, we're asking Americans through subsidies and through their purchases to pay for China, who has, I think you wouldn't argue, 80 to 90% market share of everything that goes into an electric vehicle, right? Into an electric vehicle. At the same time, we're essentially reducing power and using Thomas's numbers, which I think are correct. We're going to increase the grid requirement by at least 50%, which none of that really works out. You look at a country like Ghana, who's shutting the lights off now because they followed this model that we're following right now. What's the administration and what are you doing to make it easier and more affordable to mine critical minerals in the United States to support this industry?
One thing we've been working on with the Department of Energy is better sourcing of some of the elements that go into batteries, for example, ideally in the United States, and if not in the United States, then in geopolitically friendlier territory. Now, some of this isn't just the mining, but some of it's actually the refining capacity, which is to China's advantage, and we got to change that. I guess our view is we shouldn't accept that as a given.
Yeah, China refines 90% of the manganese. Are we going to bring that to the United States?
We'd love to bring that
we're over
the
time.
refinement capacity more to U.S. and friendly countries.
Okay, thank you.
I ran out of time.
At this point, I'll ask questions, and Rodney Davis will ask questions, and then we're going to recess for votes.